You know that classic saying, don't judge a book by its cover? We all know it.
Yeah, it's everywhere. A reminder to look deeper.
But what if that's actually missing the point? Or maybe even like misdirecting us?
How do you mean?
Well, what if judging by the cover, literally and figuratively, isn't just something we all do? What if it happens to us like super fast and the consequences really stick?
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely more than just a saying, isn't it? It taps into something really fundamental about how we make sense of the world, these rapid assessments.
Right, whether it's an actual book cover.
Or, the first time you meet someone, those first moments, they're just incredibly powerful. They kind of lay the groundwork for everything else, and we often don't even clock it consciously.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. We're going to explore the fascinating psychology behind first impressions.
From two angles, right?
Yeah, exactly. First, the literal side, how book covers really do impact whether we buy them. And then the figurative cover, how we present ourselves and perceive others in, everyday interactions.
And we'll dig into why these moments matter so much, how they shape things.
Precisely. How they shape our views, our relationships, and maybe most importantly, what you can actually do to get a better handle on this whole powerful communication dynamic.
Sounds great. Where should we start? With the literal books.
Let's do it. So the literal cover, despite what we tell ourselves when it comes down to actual books, people absolutely judge by the cover. I saw this study from self-publishing school.
Oh, yeah. What did it find?
It was pretty staggering, actually. 79% of people they asked said a book cover's design plays a decisive role in whether they buy it.
Wow, 79%. That's huge.
It really is. It's the very first hook. It often decides if the book even gets picked up off the shelf.
And it makes sense because that cover isn't just pretty decoration. It's basically a super concentrated marketing message.
Right. It's telling you the genre, the style, the whole vibe kind of instantly.
Exactly. It's the book's pitch, trying to signal credibility and hook the right reader all on a psychological level before you've even read the blurb.
It's like a silent sales pitch. And some parts of that pitch are louder than others, right? Like images.
Oh, images are huge. They're probably the most immediate thing our brains latch onto. Doesn't matter if it's a photo or an illustration.
Why are they so powerful?
Well, they kind of bypass the logical part of the brain, don't they? They hit you emotionally, rationally, sparking interpretations, making you build a story almost instantly. And then you've got other elements working alongside them, like color.
Color. That definitely sets a mood. You see soft pastels, you think romance, right? Bold, dark colors, maybe thriller or fantasy.
Precisely. Color guides the emotional expectation. Soft pastels for romance, like you said, or maybe bold primary colors for sci-fi or fantasy. It also helps organize the cover visually, drawing your eye.
Is there a rule for how much color?
Designers often stick to a limited palette, actually. Maybe 3 main colors and a couple of accents. Too much just creates visual clutter. It kind of overwhelms the eye.
Makes sense. Okay, what about the words themselves, the fonts, the typography? Does that really matter much?
Oh, absolutely. Typography can totally make or break a cover. It has to match the genre, You expect something maybe bold, even gothic for horror.
And maybe elegant, flowing for romance.
Exactly. But the absolute number one rule, it has to be readable. Instantly, especially the title, that needs to pop. It's shouting genre and tone without saying a word.
And we can actually see this play out in sales figures, can't we? There's a great example, Martin Lake's The Lost King, Resistance.
Oh yeah, I know that case study. What happened there?
Well, when it first came out, August 2013, sales were terrible. Like in November 2013, it sold just 8 copies.
8 copies? Ouch, why so bad?
The cover, people called it unprofessional, uninteresting. Apparently it had low-res images, bad fonts. It just screamed amateur, basically. Didn't invite anyone in.
So the cover was actively pushing people away. But then they changed it, right?
They did. In December 2013, they changed just the first book's cover. And guess what? Sales for that one book tripled. Just like that.
Wow. Just from the cover change.
And it didn't stop there. When they updated the covers for the whole series to match the new look, sales doubled again. They went from selling like 15 copies a month to 54, then up to 96 a month.
And this was before any real marketing push.
Exactly, before any ads. It really shows the raw power of that visual first impression, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It proves the cover is the gatekeeper. If it doesn't work, the book doesn't even get a chance. And then when they added advertising later,
then things really took off. Sales jumped to like 559 copies a month by June 2014. So yeah, that saying is nice, but in the real world, the cover is critical.
So the lesson for everyone listening is pretty clear. That first visual judgment, that cover, it has real consequences. It can literally make or break whether something gets noticed or ignored.
And it's not just books. This exact same lightning-fast psychology is happening constantly when we meet people. That's the figurative cover we're talking about.
That's right. Our first impressions of people, they form just as fast, maybe even faster, and they are incredibly sticky.
How fast are we talking?
Research shows it can take as little as 100 milliseconds, that's a tenth of a second, to form an impression just from someone's face, and then maybe 5 seconds or so to process all the other nonverbal stuff.
It's a tenth of a second. That's barely conscious.
Pretty much. And these initial takes, they don't just happen and fade. They often set the whole tone for how we see that person long term. It can create a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy.
Can you give an example of that? Like, how does that work in practice?
Sure, think about a job interview. If the recruiter gets a positive first impression, maybe in those first few seconds, they might unconsciously interact more warmly. They might ask questions that play to the candidate's strengths, smile more, nod encouragingly. This helps the candidate relax and perform better, which then confirms the recruiter's initial positive feeling.
Right, I see. And the opposite can happen too.
Definitely. A negative first impression. The recruiter might be more guarded, ask tougher questions, maybe seem a bit distant. The candidate picks up on this, feels defensive, maybe stumbles a bit.
Which then confirms the recruiter's negative bias.
Wow. Even if the person is perfectly competent.
Exactly. It shows how powerful and resistant to change these first impressions can be. They sort of color everything that comes after.
So if we want to understand our own human cover, we need to break down the signals we're sending, often without realizing it. You mentioned nonverbal communication. There are different types, right?
Yeah, researchers usually talk about 7 key types. First, and maybe most obvious, is facial expressions.
Like smiling. That seems pretty universal. It generally is, yeah. A smile means friendliness in most cultures, but then you have micro-expressions, super quick, tiny movements, like a split-second eyebrow flash or a lip twitch.
And those can give away true feelings.
Often, yeah. They can leak out what someone's really thinking or feeling, even if their words or overall expression is saying something different. They happen subconsciously, usually.
Okay, what's next?
Body language, or kinesics. How we move our bodies. Think about crossing your arms, often seen as defensive, right?
Or slouching. Maybe it looks like you don't care.
Exactly. A neutral, open posture usually comes across better, especially professionally. Even something as simple as a handshake can convey a lot. Confidence, nervousness.
Right, and there's eye contact. That one seems tricky.
It really is because it's so culturally dependent. In, say, the US or UK, good eye contact generally signals interest and honesty.
But not everywhere.
No. In many Asian cultures, or parts of the Middle East, sustained direct eye contact can actually be seen as aggressive or disrespectful, especially towards elders or authority figures. So you really need to be aware of the context.
Okay, super important. What else?
Tone of voice or paralanguage. This isn't what you say, but how you say it. Think about the pitch, the speed, the volume, even the little pauses or filler words like and ah.
They all add meaning.
Totally. They convey emotion, confidence, uncertainty, trustworthiness. It's the music playing behind the words.
Gotcha. Number 5.
Proxemics. This is all about personal space, that invisible bubble we all have.
And that varies too, right?
Hugely. You have contact cultures, think parts of South America, Southern Europe, the Middle East, where people tend to stand closer and touch more during conversation.
And non-contact cultures.
Like North America, Northern Europe, parts of Asia, people generally prefer a bit more distance. You have to read the cues as someone leaning in or subtly stepping back. That tells you about their comfort zone.
Okay, 2 more.
Touch or haptic communication. This is obviously very powerful, very intimate. Things like handshakes, high fives, a pat on the back.
Or even like the double cheek kiss common in France.
Well, exactly. All carry specific cultural meanings. And you mentioned earlier the importance of using the right hand in some cultures, like the Middle East. Those details matter immensely for rapport.
Right, and the last one.
Finally, appearance and attire. What you wear, how groomed you are. This is often one of the very first things people notice.
So being clean, tidy, dressed appropriately for the situation.
It signals respect, professionalism, attention to detail. There's even this idea called enclothed cognition.
What's that?
It's the theory that the clothes you wear can actually affect your own psychological processes, how you think and feel. Like power dressing might genuinely make you feel more confident and authoritative. Your appearance signals things inwardly as well as outwardly.
Wow. So we're constantly sending and receiving all these signals, often without thinking. But we don't always read them correctly, do we? We have biases.
Oh, absolutely. We make judgment errors all the time. A really common one is mistaking a temporary situation for a permanent personality trait. Someone's acting grumpy, maybe they just got stuck in traffic or had bad news, but we might label them as just an unfriendly person.
Yeah, I can see that. And what about the halo effect?
Right. That's where if we notice one positive trait, like someone is charming or attractive, we tend to assume they have other positive traits too, like they must also be smart, kind, competent.
And the reverse is true too. The horns effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If someone seems aloof or makes one small mistake, we might unfairly assume they're generally incompetent or uninteresting. Our brains like to generalize. We even do it with faces, like associating baby face features with trustworthiness.
And then there are outright stereotypes based on group membership.
Definitely. Preconceived notions about gender, race, age, profession, whatever it might be. These can heavily filter our first impressions, even if the person doesn't fit the stereotype at all. The key isn't necessarily eliminating these biases, that's probably impossible, but becoming aware of them.
So knowing this, how can we actually try to make a good first impression? Is there a secret?
Well, maybe the biggest secret is this. It's less about projecting some kind of perfection and more about making the other person feel good.
Ah, so it's about them, not just me.
Exactly. Think of it like offering social gifts.
Social gifts, I like that. What are they?
There are a few key ones. Appreciation, offering a genuine compliment, showing you value something about them. That literally lights up reward centers in their brain.
Okay, what else?
Connection, finding common ground, something you share. That builds rapport, a sense of elevation, making them laugh, boosting their mood, making them feel good emotionally. They'll associate that good feeling with you.
Makes sense. Is there another one?
And enlightenment, sharing something interesting or useful, a little insight. It positions you as someone valuable to interact with. Giving these gifts makes people feel seen, validated, and positive about the interaction, and therefore positive about you.
That's a really helpful way to frame it. Okay, so let's talk practicalities. How can you, the listener, get better at managing your own cover, your nonverbal signals?
Self-awareness is absolutely number one. You have to start paying attention to your own habits. What are your default facial expressions? What do you do with your hands? Do you use filler words like, a lot?
How can people become more aware?
Honestly, look in a mirror while you talk, record yourself on video sometimes, ask yourself, what's my resting face actually conveying? It might not be what you think, just noticing is the first big step.
Okay, notice yourself. What else?
Practice active listening, and that means really focusing on the other person, not just waiting for your turn to jump in.
So, nodding, making eye contact appropriately.
Yes, using facial expressions to show you're engaged, even subtly mirroring their posture can build connections subconsciously. The big thing is to resist planning your response while they're still talking. Listen to understand.
That's a hard one sometimes.
It really is. And finally, don't be afraid to ask for feedback.
From who?
Trusted friends, colleagues, maybe a mentor. Ask them honestly. How do I generally come across? Ask for specific examples if possible. Getting perspectives from different areas of your life can be really insightful for spotting those blind spots.
Okay, so that's working on your own signals. What about getting better at reading other people?
Again, practice is key. Make a conscious effort to observe people's nonverbal cues when you interact. What signals are they sending? How do they react to you? What stands out?
Are there specific things to look for if someone's, say, not interested?
Yeah, there are often telltale signs, things like repeatedly checking their phone or watch, sighing, maybe eye rolling, avoiding eye contact, having a totally blank expression, interrupting you constantly, or excessive slouching. Those often signal disengagement.
And there are resources for this, too.
Oh, yeah, lots of good books, courses, workshops out there dedicated to decoding nonverbal communication if you want to go deeper.
What if you feel like you've already messed up, like you made a bad first impression? Is it possible to fix it?
It definitely happens. And yes, you often can. Sometimes the direct approach works. A simple apology if you think you misspoke or caused offense. It shows humility.
What if direct isn't possible or appropriate?
Then sometimes you just have to let time and consistent behavior do the work. Let them see a different side of you through ongoing positive interactions. Actions really do speak louder than that initial impression over time.
You could also maybe try to adapt a bit.
That's a great point. Pay attention to the other person's communication style. Are they fast-paced, high energy, more reserved? Try to subtly complement or match their style a bit. It can build comfort.
So it all comes back to that synergy, doesn't it? The verbal and the nonverbal need to match up.
Absolutely. When your body language, your tone, and your words are all telling the same story, your message becomes so much more powerful, believable, and trustworthy. It's really a continuous journey, this process of learning about yourself and others.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. We've really unpacked how these first impressions, whether it's that book cover grabbing your eye or that initial feeling about a new person, they happen incredibly fast.
Yeah, and they're surprisingly sticky, having a real impact on everything from what we buy to how our relationships develop, even our professional success.
So that old saying, don't judge a book by its cover, while maybe well-intentioned.
Understanding the psychology of why we do judge by appearances is actually way more useful in navigating the world.
Right, and the key lesson here, for you listening, is really about awareness, isn't it?
Totally. Becoming aware of the signals you send and getting better at reading the signals you receive, that awareness lets you be more intentional as a communicator and more insightful as an observer.
Moving beyond those instant snap judgments to maybe find a deeper understanding.
Exactly. Being both a better architect of your own cover and a more perceptive reader of others.
Which leaves us with a final thought, something to really chew on. If our brains are hardwired for these instant judgments, and they're so difficult to shift, what responsibility do you have to consciously craft the cover you present?
That's a good question. And the flip side, too.
Right. How much grace should we actively try to extend to others? How hard should we work to look beyond their initial cover, searching for that richer, more complex story underneath?
How can you use this knowledge not just to, put your best foot forward, but to actually build more genuine connections by trying to truly read what's going on with someone else?
Lots to think about there.
Definitely. It changes how you approach things.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep diving deep.